All right, lads, we have made it to peak week. It's actually the Wednesday of peak week now, so we're well into it. The show's on Sunday. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very happy to be in this position. And like I said in the last video, we're all more resilient than you think. You know, you blink and then you'll be at the next stage. And the last bit of the last week, doing the PSC, doing the exam, getting carbs very low right at the end, was all a challenge, but we'll go through each point. First off, doing the PSC, doing the exam. The actual PSC was really quite enjoyable. I really liked the guy who did it, and it wasn't a bad process. The exam, in terms of prep, was tough. It affected sleep a little bit, and the thing that I found really interesting was you could physically see more stress. Because I was still doing daily check-ins with my coach, and you could see the stress of it. A little bit less sleep, and my body weight jumped up, which obviously right at the end is like the last thing you want. So I went all the way up to 85, which is fairly high considering I'd had weigh-ins in the 82s. But I kind of just had to chalk it to, yeah, you're stressed about this exam. And I was on the day of it. So yeah, 85 on that day. And then that led us to a couple of very low carb days. We had one higher carb day. So one day which was 250 carbs, which was 100 above what we were doing at the time. And then we went down. So I had 4 days in a row that were below 2,000 calories. And the lowest of that was 1,650. And the whole time of this process, I haven't gone below 2,000. So that was the first time of doing that, and it was not fun. If you know me, I have a huge appetite. Obviously at the moment, the appetite's crazy, but I don't think I've probably eaten less than 2,000 calories in a day in about 10 years. So doing that 4 days in a row, I was rinsed. I'll be honest. I don't like coming on any social media platform and moaning about the process, because at the end of it, I'm admiral of the ship, right? I can get off. Why am I just picking modes of transport? I can get off a train at any point. I'm choosing to do it, and I never want to really go into like, the worst things about prep. I find it really just a bit annoying when people go on about that. But those days were very tough. The lowest the carbs got to was 75 grams, and it ended up becoming a bit of like an interesting game, because what do you even do with 75 grams of carbs? I eat a lot of fruit, a lot of veg. That obviously gets cut down. I love my oats, my cream of rice. Nah, not now. So you end up having like fish and eggs, and it's just these really moody meals. And I did at some point take some like perverse enjoyment in how weird it was getting. A couple days where I was like, look, just leave me alone. Then on Monday, finally, it's okay. We're ready to fill back up. Great, brilliant news, the best thing I can hear. And so then we go to 350 grams of carbs. And then we go to 350 grams of carbs. Next day, 350 again. And today is a rest day, so it's a little bit lower, and then continuing to load up. And the difference, I'm not going to show too much posing and everything, because I think that's for show day. You know, I'm posting a bit more of that stuff on Instagram. But I like to kind of keep that a little bit close to my chest. Especially with the actual like proper men's physique posing. I don't really post loads of that, because that's for me to practice and then show on show day, in my opinion. What I was really happy was on that last day before filling up, we got to an all-time low weigh-in of 82 kilos, which is insane. Like, this started at 104 kilos, and I just can't remember a time I've been 82 kilos since I was I might have not even been a teenager. Like, there maybe were points at like 14 I was that weight, but I've always been quite heavy. So to be 82 kilos now as a man is crazy to me. I can't believe we've gone down 22 kilos from high to low. And then obviously now we're filling back up. That body weight's gone back up to around 83 and a half. So 82 will be the lowest weigh-in of this prep, barring some catastrophe. Peaking at the moment, peaking last time around for the WMBF show, felt really weird to me because I didn't really know what to expect. It was all quite novel. It's a bit of a strange process. You don't really know whether you're coming or going. So I'm really happy I had that experience of having done it before. And now it just feels nice that I'm just trying to really sail through. One of the main things is keeping stress as low as possible. And I'm not at work at the moment. I've got this time off. So that's a godsend. That's an absolute godsend, because you can just entirely focus on the process, which is such a luxury. And obviously for doing future preps and doing this down the line, it's probably not something I'm going to have. So to be able to have that is amazing. I'll throw some training clips over the top of all of this. I got so knackered when I was on the really low carbs and the low food that I couldn't even film in the gym. I mean, training at that point was really horrible. It's really horrible when it's something you love doing. I love training. I love trying to. I just enjoy it. Obviously, you don't love. I'm not saying every set I'm like grinning, but I love the process of it, and it was just a slog. Doing it was horrible, and I didn't have the energy to film it. I didn't have the energy to logbook it, to get the thing out. It was just, I could barely move my body through doing it, and it was just exhausting. So I've got some sporadic sets throughout the week that who knows. Given that we're only a few days out, I asked the good people on Instagram for some questions to do a little Q&A at the end of this. We'll go for the nonsense first. What's your cycle? Natural bodybuilder, mate. Natural bodybuilder. Cycle is passion, love for the game, determination, grit, and just enough self-hatred is a brilliant cocktail for making optimal gains. What are your carbs and calories in the peak? I hope I've answered that. Really, just under 3,000. It's been on the training days. 350 grams of carbs, 210 protein, 60 fat. That's pretty accurate, isn't it? And then rest day today, so it's a bit more fat, a bit lower carb, all that good stuff. And I think for the next couple of days, it will be higher carb going in to really push fullness as much as possible, which if I can eat more oats and I can eat more cream of rice, I can eat more actual rice, I am not complaining. How do I stay consistent when motivation disappears? So that comes up all the time for people, just in general. If you have chats with people, that always comes up. I just think you find enjoyment in the process. The way you stay consistent is enjoying it. And you might look at me and go, I don't enjoy any of it. Well, if you really truly do not enjoy any of being in the gym, don't be in the gym. There's so many other ways to be active. Just do something else. But if you like some elements of it, a tip I'd give to you is to write down what you like for each muscle group, right? So if you hate dumbbell shoulder press, but you really like this machine that's in your gym, write this down on a piece of paper and then do the things that you really like. Hopefully they're balanced. If you're training shoulders, for example, let's just use that as an easy example, have something for your mid delt, have something for your rear delt, front delt, have a balanced plan in terms of hitting each muscle group, but just prioritize what you enjoy, get really good at them, get your head down for a considerable amount of time, and then when you pick your head up, you'll be a completely different person. And that really is it. There's no other quicker route to it. The quickest route is when you realize that's the quickest route. It has to be derived from enjoying an element of it. Training can always be hard. It should be hard. If you're really hating it, you're obviously not going to do it. And I think once you start seeing results and the ball's rolling, I think your quid's in. Like there's no issue at that point. Another thing initially can just be to trick your brain and give yourself little rewards, little treats for going. Buy something at the gym, buy yourself a coffee, buy yourself a overpriced protein shake, overpriced protein bar. Do what you want. Something that makes you think, oh, this is a fun experience. And also go to a gym that you like, where you like the people. This obviously is built over time, but go somewhere where you actually look forward to going and you build a little community. And I think that's one of the key things to keeping you consistent. I see that across the board, because in my gym, obviously, there's a huge powerlifting community. There's also a massive calisthenics community. And there's probably less bodybuilders, but I see the classes and the same people going back week after week, and it's because of that community aspect. So try and find something with that. That's the reason that High Rocks does so well. That's the reason that CrossFit did so well. It creates community and it makes fitness fun. That's why people go and run clubs, other than they're basically just dating apps. How do I eat out or travel without falling off track? I think this is the easiest thing in the world to do. It's always overestimated how hard this is. And it is if you just eat like a bellend. If you don't eat like a bellend, you can travel, you can eat out loads. Seriously, most of the places you go are going to have options that are, I'm not going as far to say like prep friendly. Like a bodybuilding prep, you're not eating out. That's part of the process. Make your peace with it. But in terms of just being a general gym goer, there's going to be things on every menu. It's going to be a steak, some fish, things which stay very much within your realm of the things that you eat. And that's not saying you've got to do that, but let's say you are away for a considerable amount of time. Yeah, have your times where you have the things that you more enjoy, or, things that people consider cheats or anything like that. But if you're away for 3 weeks, you probably don't want to do that every day. That will impact your progress. So then there's always options on menus. A simple rule of thumb I always used was whatever you really fancy for starter, because it's going to probably be a smaller portion and it's not going to have that much impact. And then for a main, typically have something that's lean protein, some carbs, and something that's a bit more within the scope of what you usually have. That always worked for me. And also go into places where there are the options of that. If you're always sitting inside of Five Guys and going, fuck, they're not catering to my needs, then you might just be sat in the wrong seat. Also, probably 2 courses I always just think is better. Like if you're going for all 3, it's going to be hard, isn't it? Let's be honest. How do I build confidence in the gym even when I feel like I don't belong? We all just feel like we are nervous at the gym initially, and everyone has been through this, because you just don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. But the truth is, you don't know what you're doing. So accept that. And then you can get the ball rolling and you can actually begin to know what you're doing once you take the ego hit that you have no idea what you're doing. And classic adage that the biggest people in a gym are usually the most friendly. They're always going to be open to helping you because they know the position, and they're happy that someone else is in the gym and they actually want to do it. Like, no one's going to judge you. And I always say the people that do judge you are insecure themselves because they're not training hard enough, are they? Like, if you're looking around a gym and going, he's using that machine wrong, isn't he? What are you doing? Do your set. Shut up. So that's my view on it anyway. And also, if it really does continue to feel hostile, maybe change gym, because it's not the case in every gym. And it's worth maybe traveling 5 minutes longer, paying a few more pounds a month to go somewhere where you actually like the people and you can progress. And once people around you are making good decisions and they're progressing, it's contagious. You'll do it as well. Last one, and this I genuinely think is a full video, so I'm going to try and express my thoughts on it quite succinctly and probably do a full video on it at some point. What's the biggest problem in the gym community? To me, it's short form media. Because of TikTok and Reels and everything, that's why I wanted to come on here more, because I can just post a 20-minute video, and if you don't want to listen to it, you don't want to listen to it. I don't mind. But there's this onus on the short form platforms that you grab people's attention, and typically the loudest voice just wins, not the most accurate. And there's so many people, I respect their opinion massively, and I respect what they've got to say, but they're getting outdone by someone who's just spouting nonsense that's controversial, and it's not good for anyone, because people end up becoming badly educated on loads of topics within fitness. So rather than nailing a few, rather than having people that are specialists in certain areas, or people that really know what they're talking about in certain stuff and might just go, hey, I don't know loads about that. You have people that learn buzzwords and phrases from all these short videos, never actually really learn about the topic. They think they know everything about it. Dunning-Kruger goes mental, and these people, because they're slightly aware of because they're slightly aware of these terms, they're aware of what so many more people are aware of a calorie surplus and training to failure and deficit and all these things, but they still don't know how to use them. So that is a big problem because they think they do. When I first started training, there was a lot less voices and it was more YouTube and longer form stuff. And because of that, you actually digest someone's opinion. You actually digest what they've learned training rather than these little sound bites that could be taken out of context, are just little clips, don't really give you much. And I spent hours watching videos and reading about this, because I love the topic. I love the process. I love being in the gym and learning there and then consolidating outside. I'm not saying everyone's going to do that. What education does for you is it makes you very sure in your view on training and what you think. It allows you to build an opinion. You can't build an opinion if you know 5% about all these different topics and you can't actually assess what's right for you. And I personally think, tinfoil hat on, that that's all massively by design, because if you're aware of all these different things, but you don't really know, you inject a little bit of FOMO into that and you become a prime consumer. The amount more people you get come up to you now and go, oh, I've got this thing, and oh, it's carnival, oh, it's this, it's that. There's so many different fads and trends. Oh yeah, it's really going well though. See them in 6 months. Oh, I'm doing this other thing, it's really going well though. It's like you're just a pawn of the system. You're an absolute pawn of the system because you've never taken the time to actually learn what you think or what you want to do. So you keep just dishing out money, hoping that throwing money at it solves it. And it doesn't. So I think the biggest problem, and like I say, I would love to talk about that more, is just that people are becoming less and less educated in the pursuit of trying to know everything, where I just think that's a fallacy. There's really no point in doing it. But yeah. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully that's not incredibly long, but like I say, on YouTube, I don't care. I don't care if it's too long. Well, enjoyed. This is the middle of peak week. I probably won't post again until maybe the night before show day. I'm staying in an Airbnb on my own the night before show day. And I'm quite looking forward to that. So I'll probably do it, maybe I'll film a video there at the very least. But I hope you're doing good, and I hope some of the questions were helpful to someone. I'll see you in the next one, maybe on show day.